Pax Dei is a new open world sandbox MMORPG that is coming out very soon. Is going into its alpha, so you can already pre-register on their website. It is made with Unreal Engine 5, so you already know we're gonna get that high quality game. And from what I've seen so far, there looks to be some very promising stuff coming with this game. So we're gonna jump right into everything you need to know about the game, so make sure you check it out. So Pax Dei, you will be able to play this game on PC, but they also said that you will be able to play it on whatever screen, yes, whatever screen that you have available through cloud gaming. So most likely they're doing like Throne of Liberty, where you can stream it on your phone and other devices and play through that, or PlayStation. Yeah, so the game itself, it is like a medieval era. That's where we're gonna be. We're gonna be in a medieval era with the realistic / fantasy art and characters. And the game itself, the main selling point, or what they really focused on the game, is like everything in the game is produced by players. And when I say everything, I don't only talk about gear, okay, weapons, armor. No, when I say everything, I mean everything from houses to cities to gear to crafting to the economy. Basically every single thing in this game will be made by players. There won't be NPCs to sell you stuff. There won't be NPCs to give you quests. There won't be houses already, vendor houses stuff. There will be nothing. Everything in this game is player driven, which is really cool, which means that if you are playing this game, you might find people that are certain vendors for potions, certain vendors for gear, which will be other players. So it adds a very cool uniqueness to like the whole economy and the whole world. And this game, basically, you start in an area which is far up in the mountains, and this will be your safe space. Here you can do crafting. They will have, of course, building. They're taking inspiration from a lot of games. Honestly, when talking about the game and seeing the type of game it is, I see a lot of like a Valheim inspiration, where you can like craft and build your own place, which will be the safe area. And the further you go from the main area or the main city, the more dangerous it gets, like Valheim. But they have taken a lot of inspiration from like other games. You can see it like just by the game itself, like a little bit of Skyrim, a little bit of New World. Especially the combat reminds me a little bit of New World, a little Skyrim. But the deeper you go into the world, the more dangerous it gets. But we're gonna jump back to the PvP and PvE content, but first I want to talk about like the classes, right? You will have your character. It's an open world MMORPG, so you will be progressing your character, you know, getting that good gear, getting those good weapons, crafting, doing all that stuff, and progressing. Now in the game itself, it will depend on what weapon you are wielding, so you won't be locked to a weapon. You can craft any weapon you want whenever you want. So if you want to use a bow, for example, you can buy one from another player, craft it, and use a bow. And the combat, they're still polishing the combat, so it most likely will look better than what they show, but the combat does remind me a lot of like New World in Skyrim. Like if you're using a bow, you're gonna have to aim. There will be drop down on your arrows, so you want to learn basically all the mechanics. But there will be also skills that you guys can use, and when it comes to skills, there will be defined roles. So we will have the holy trinity. There will be healer roles, there will be tank roles, there will be DPS roles, and I don't know exactly how they're going to implement it. If it's going to be if you can choose different skills depending on, let's say I'm a bow user but I want to be a healer, right? So can I, for example, do I have to use light armor to get like healing skills, or is it going to be heavy armor to be like a tank, or how they're going to do it, we don't know. But there will be defined roles. If you're used to play healer, you can play healer in this game. You can play DPS, you can play tank. Now looking away from the characters and the classes, there is, of course, it's an MMORPG, so it will have PvE and PvP. And what is really cool about the PvE is the deeper you go into the world, the more, again, dangerous it gets, right? And slowly and slowly, when you get your gear, you get your teammates, you get your friends, you can travel deeper into this world, into different caves, and there'll be dungeons to do. They already said there'll be raids to do, so you will fight hard these different monsters, which will probably drop gear, better and better gear that you can use for crafting, for resources, which will be highly in demand from other players. So progressing in this game will be a thing. It won't be just be like a trade game. It will be, you will have the whole MMORPG experience. And when it comes to the PvP in this game, they have talked about not having like some set PvP like arenas. They want to focus on a resource control, power control. So let's say you have your own clan, right? And you control an area, and other clans can basically come up and fight you in PvP for control of these areas, which will lead to, of course, power struggle, resources, and collaboration between clans. So gives me, again, a little bit of a new world vibe. It'd be interesting to see how they do this PvP. So the really cool thing about this game is it will have a dynamic world. A lot of new developers and games have been doing this with the Unreal Engine 5. I'm guessing like it's like a way to make the world more immersive. We've seen it with Throne of Liberty and other games with Unreal Engine 5. And what I mean with dynamic world is when there's things happening out of your control in the world. Let's say there's a new update, right? There's a patch and there's a new lore where it's been earthquakes. What can earthquake leads to? Houses that you probably built getting destroyed, new caves opening because of cracks in earlier areas. Let's say when you were progressing early on, you walked past an area, you explored it, and there was some kind of like crack in the wall, and because of the earthquake, there's now opened a new cave there, which will lead to a new dungeon, a new raid. And also, let's say there's an area with a lot of rain, there's been a lot of drought there because of sun, right? The water, when the water disappears, they might open new cave, new areas. So there'll be a lot of stuff that will be constantly changing in this dynamic world. So the exploration will be very interesting. So just because you're done exploring one place, it doesn't mean that that place is fully explored forever. They might open new stuff, and I really like this that they have introduced this, because it always keeps you on your toes, right, for exploration and new things happening constantly in the game, and everything just changing. I think it's a phenomenal thing, and I think this will be the next thing that every MMO has to do. They have to get this dynamic environment that gets stuff changing all the time, which will lead to cool explorations overall in the game and bring uniqueness and immersiveness to it. Now, the main question is, we went through most of the stuff, right? We know what type of game it is, but the monetization, we do not know a lot about monetization in this game, because they have to monetize it some type of way. Now, the main thing that I can think of is costumes, right? It's an open world MMORPG, you know, people are going to be going around and buying costumes and stuff, because they have to be very careful how they implement the the monetization, because the whole, as I mentioned earlier, everything in this game is player controlled, right? Economy, gear, resources, housing. So when they introduce monetization, and they have to be very careful so they don't mess up the health of the ecosystem in the game. So what I'm thinking is most likely is going to be furnitures that you can put in different houses, some cool skins for housing, because everything is player made, so they can do a lot of stuff with just cosmetics, right? Skins for gear, furniture, house skins, colors, dyes for everything. So there's a lot of stuff to do for the monetization, so hopefully they do that correctly. Overall, my opinion of Pax Dei, the MMO itself is a very interesting project. I think they've taken the right inspiration from many games. I love like the whole Valheim building, exploration, the combat style from Skyrim, having the Holy Trinity. That I love the Holy Trinity, because Holy Trinity makes MMOs so much more immersive. Having the healer, having a tank, having a DPS, fighting raids and dungeons makes everything more challenging, and a lot of more strategy required to just play the game. So that is well made. The combat looks great. I love like New World Skyrim style of combat, where you have this just like an open combat where you can shoot bows, where you can use melee swords, and there's no tap target. I love that style of combat. So overall opinion of the game, I think they've done a very good job with the game itself. They have a great idea. Now it's all about how they're gonna execute it, right? So a lot of potential. Looking forward to Pax Day. You can already sign up for the alpha on their website, so make sure you just do that. Give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Check out this video right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.